Hello everyone, and welcome to a Deep Dives Previews video. Earlier this month, I was lucky enough to be invited by Square Enix to get hands-on with the upcoming remake of Dragon Quest III, officially titled Dragon Quest III HD-2D Remake. So, it goes without saying, I owe a massive thank you to Square Enix for giving me the opportunity to get hands-on this early. The original was released all the way back in 1988 on the Famicom in Japan, before being remade for the Super Famicom in 1996. Us poor UK folk wouldn't see the game outside of emulation for quite some time. I think that's why this remake is so important. Dragon Quest III is a piece of gaming history and as such deserves all the love in the universe. In the original, the story is set before the first Dragon Quest, where the archfiend Baramos is threatening to destroy the world, and it's up to you, the hero, child of the legendary Ortega, to recruit some friends, carry on their father's quest, and lay the smackdown on Baramos. In the preview, the story picked up just after I recruited my party and had set off to find the Thief's Key in the Dreamer's Tower. The first thing that struck me about the remake was the stunning visuals. The name HD-2D was actually trademarked by Square Enix back in 2019 after they implemented the art style for Octopath Traveler, meshing 2D pixel characters with gorgeous 3D backdrops. It's really nice to see Square continuing to use it for other games, such as this remake. It strikes the right notes for me. As a fan of classic pixel art and JRPGs, Dragon Quest III Remake was a visual feast which I enjoyed every second of. It's simple yet effective, and very easy on the eyes. The UI has been cleaned up and updated for modern audiences, but still mostly maintains the original look. After looking around town for a while, talking to a few shopkeepers, buying some bits and casually visiting a church, I set out to the wilderness towards my next objective. It was there I ran into a slew of bad guys to beat up. The combat system is not your typical turn-based combat, but it's mostly similar. If you don't change anything in the menus, you'll have direct control over your main hero's actions and the rest can follow suit automatically. This can either be changed so that everything is automated, or you can have full control, which is a nice touch. I preferred directing everything, so I changed it so I could do so. Enemies cannot be specifically targeted unless they are on their own. Enemies are grouped together in their enemy types. For instance, you could wander into a fight and there will be several slimes and a couple of stark ravens. When targeting these creatures with abilities, you target the group, not an individual beast within that group. I guess that part was a little frustrating and felt slightly outdated, but it wasn't a deal breaker for me. In fact, a bunch of significant quality of life changes have actually been made with the ability to speed up the combat, meaning most fights lasted less than 30 seconds. This helped a lot because in the field and dungeons there were a lot of random enemy encounters. Almost too many actually. Maybe this can be toned down a little, but like any other JRPG, random encounters can usually be circumvented with items. But the fact that auto battle is an option is also a very welcome feature. It takes a bit of the grind out, which is much appreciated, and in turn makes this more accessible for modern audiences with less time on their hands. Once I learned the whoosh ability, fights were even quicker. I love whoosh. You'd never have thought that in 2024 I'd be saying I love whoosh, but here we are. So yeah, combat is decent enough and present in the same style as the original, both in looks and gameplay, taking nothing away from the nostalgia. Traversing the land is business as usual, finding items, secrets and battling beasties while going from A to B, all wrapped up in that previously mentioned beautiful art style. From Alena, I travelled to Reeve before heading out once again to visit the Dreamer's Tower. I'd powered up at this point, so the enemies present didn't cause too much bother, and I was even more pleasantly surprised when I found an inn to rest at on the bottom floor. How lovely. Once hitting the top, I found a thief's key, and that was pretty much where we left things. One thing that stuck out here was another quality of life change, the fact that the NPCs spoke. Yes, Dragon Quest III now has voiceover lines, which is pretty neat. Overall, I was very impressed with what I played. The quality of life changes coupled with the graphical overhaul means that anyone that never experienced the original will have an easy time settling into the remake. I personally cannot wait to get my hands on the full game. Well, thank you everyone for watching my preview on Dragon Quest III HD-2D Remake. I'd really like to know what you think of this video and the game as and when you get a chance to play it. Once again, big thank you to the kind folk over at Square Enix for letting me jump on this early. As always, I'd like to give a massive shout out to my Patreons for your support. You're all absolutely amazing. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you like what you watched today, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also like this video. As always, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who's been watching Deep Dives, everyone that's subbed to the channel, and also a big thank you for all the support, comments and general feedback. You are all fantastic. Please keep the comments and feedback coming. If you want to keep up to date with what I'm up to, please follow me on Twitter at DonPedroX for regular updates on upcoming videos and other thoughts from my brain. And finally, if you'd like what I do and fancy supporting me, I have a Patreon. I'd like to do these videos more often, so any support you can give would be amazing. Right, see you next time.